Hi, I'm Tim CRINO, Senior Editor at Inc. Welcome to this session of the Purpose Power Summit. I'm joined today by Gina Bartasi, who has spent a decade making healthcare more accessible. That mission continues with her latest venture, Kindbody, a fertility care and wellness service that's raising the bar on employer-based benefits. Welcome, Gina.
Thank you, Tim. Really appreciate your time this afternoon.
Gina, I'd like to start by asking you about your personal sense of purpose and how that translates into Kindbody's sense of purpose.
Yeah, I found myself in New York City and Manhattan, in my late 30s, recently married in my mid 30s, trying to conceive. And our group of friends, primarily white, dinky, dual income, no kids yet, all going through fertility treatments. And we were fortunate to be able to afford fertility treatments that on average are $25,000 per IVF cycle. And at that time, more than 10 years ago, you needed about 3.2 cycles to conceive. So the average from start to conception was $65,000. What that creates is this real separation between have and have nots. From those, white, privileged, primarily white, not exclusively white, but certainly the 1% who can afford family building services, and then separates out. Today, 6 times as many Americans need family building benefits than can afford it. And so I've been incredibly blessed throughout my career, and I have a sincere responsibility now to pay it forward. And the one way that I can help pay it forward is to bring down the astronomical cost of fertility treatments so that more people can afford treatment. LGBTQ+, single moms by choice, single dads by choice, egg freezing, all of these services historically have remained out of reach for historically underrepresented communities. So my purpose and Kindbody's purpose today is to democratize fertility care so that there's not the separation that fertility is only afforded to the top 1% and that we can increase accessibility for all.
And can you tell me a little bit about why this is so important to you, the idea of giving back?
Yeah, I didn't grow up with any money. Neither one of my parents went to college. And so I was rooted in this humility and this service environment and to be respectful of those that are less fortunate than you. And so it really was how I was raised. It's been a part of my DNA since the beginning. And then, I was never in a position to be able to pay it forward. Like I was just struggling to make payroll or struggling to pay my own bills. And then once you're in a position to really capitalize a company and change the way that care is delivered, you can now start really leveraging the knowledge you've built and the clout, right? Because in order to shift a paradigm and really move this really expensive, cost prohibitive fertility treatment and be able to provide this privileged service to others, you have to be in a position to be able to do that. I couldn't do that historically. Now we're in an incredible position at Kindbody. We work with other partners. Not only do we bring down the cost of care ourselves, but we donate services in partnership with Fertility for Colored Girls. We give grants, we give donations. Again, there's a real purpose and a real mission and a real responsibility. It's not just me. We have 750 teammates now, and it's common. It's this thread amongst all of us that we owe it to, again, democratize care and increase accessibility.
And I'd love to know, how exactly is Kindbody doing that? I mean, fertility, like you said, has been such a cost-prohibitive treatment, and you're lowering that cost. How is Kindbody tackling that, and what are some of the challenges that come with breaking down those barriers?
Yeah, well, the first thing is, why does it cost so much? And fertility treatment looks like other historically elective, and nobody in the fertility industry likes to use that word elective. Certainly I don't either. But the way the fertility doctors have been able to price their services, it certainly seems to be elective, because you could be in Boston, Massachusetts and pay $11,000 or $12,000 for something that in the Bay Area or New York City is going to cost you 2.5 times that. Like a cycle in the Bay Area could cost you $26,000 when in Boston it would cost you $12,000. And the question is why, and that's because there's managed care reimbursement. There's a heavy mandate in Massachusetts that there's not in California. And so when you start to see this discrepancy in fees, you first ask why, and then you say, okay, how can we bring the cost of care down? The first way to bring cost of care down in healthcare is to utilize technology. Today, when you go to virtually any doctor's appointment, not just fertility doctors, but the first thing they give you is a clipboard, and it's 6 pages. It's a HIPAA compliance, it's your background, and it is a legacy way of healthcare. Healthcare is like the only vertical that's not been disrupted by technology. So at Kindbody, we own and operate our own proprietary technology. That's a patient portal, it's an EMR, it's a revenue cycle management, so that all of these different systems are on one tech stack, so that the patient portal, the front end of the system, is actually the back end, the EMR, that our physicians see. So we really create transparency so that the patient can see visibly in their patient portal everything that the doctor is seeing. So technology is the leading way we've been able to bring down cost of care. There are other things that we do in terms of efficiency, but it really comes down to, again, really understanding these pricing discrepancies. Historically, prices were able to be maintained at such a high rate because you were dealing with a very vulnerable, very privileged patient population. I can remember when my husband and I sat down in front of a doctor on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, we said, we don't care what it costs, we just want a baby. And that's for a very privileged few that can sit down and say, I don't care what it costs, I just want a baby. But if you're the receiver and you're the fertility doctor and you have someone sitting in front of you saying, I don't care what it costs, imagine what the fertility doctor thinks is, okay, well, I'm going to charge you as much as possible. Today, that was 10, 12 years ago. Today, there's way more choice. There's way more options in addition to Kindbody to get a high level of service for a more cost-effective fee.
And so speaking of using technology to innovate in the healthcare industry, what are some other problem areas in healthcare that you see as opportunities for entrepreneurs to, get involved and innovate in?
Yeah, well, again, the number one way in healthcare to bring down the cost of care is technology. But the other challenge, there are lots of challenges in healthcare, but historically, healthcare treats everybody the same, right? So if you were coming in for fertility services, everybody presumed that you're in a heterosexual couple. Okay, so you get your chart, you get your white piece of paper on your clipboard, and it says for you, and then it says your husband's name, right? Okay, and you're the female, and you are assumed that you have a male partner. Well, again, that's a legacy assumption that today arguably should never exist. So it's another problem we're addressing. We talk about personalized, standardized medicine, because we do want the same standard of care. So if you're a same-sex couple in the care of Kindbody in Atlanta, Georgia, we want you to have the same high level of service in our San Francisco location, in our Orange County location, and our Austin, Texas location. So that part should be standardized. But it should be personalized in that the same-sex male couple is not treated like an egg freezing patient. An egg freezing patient, if you ask them who their partner is or who their husband is, they're like, okay, what part of egg freezing do you not understand? So I think, again, this healthcare historically has been one size fits all. And it's another thing we're saying, wait a minute, healthcare, you should not treat everybody the same. Today, families look very different. And so at Kindbody, we treat those differences. We have these member journeys. And so if you're an egg freezing patient, you go down a member journey that doesn't ask for your spouse. If you're same-sex male couple, it doesn't ask for your wife. If you're a single dad by choice, it's personalized medicine and breaking this historical bad habits of one-size-fits-all medicine.
And so obviously, your purpose, you seem very passionate about your purpose, democratizing access to healthcare, standardizing patient care. How do you communicate your purpose to your employees? You're set to expand in a big way over the next few years. How are you going to scale your sense of mission?
Yeah, thank you. I think you have to ground yourself in it. So, 3.5 years ago when we started Kindbody, we started with culture, and we started with our mission, we started with our value system. I think if you don't start with culture and 3 or 4 years later, you then start to add culture, it's harder, right? It's just harder. There's a number of great studies that say, culture eats strategy for lunch, and we firmly believe that. So we set up our purpose and our culture at the very beginning 3.5 years ago, and then you have to return to that. And then the most important thing as you scale a business is you have to find like-minded teammates. So if you make a bad hire and that person is toxic, you have to be very, very disciplined to exit that toxic person very, very fast. And it's not hard to spot toxicity. You just see it and you exit them quickly. And then again, it's not just me who believes in this mission and this vision and this purpose. It exists amongst our entire leadership team. And it's not just at our leadership team. You can see it at the front desk if you go into any of our Kindbody locations. It's in our nurses, it's in our phlebotomists, it's in our embryologists. This really humility to serve and bring a higher patient experience to everyone that walks through our doors. So I think you have to teach it, you have to breathe it, and you have to revisit it. We have monthly town halls, and every single month we reiterate our mission, our vision, our purpose. And it really is, we believe in service-based leadership. We are here to serve the patient.
You've been called one of the hottest new healthcare benefits or employer offered benefits. Where do you see other benefits fitting into the Kindbody package, right? Are you just focusing on fertility? Are there other services that you might want to offer in the future?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think today, I started Progeny, one of the fertility benefits leaders, about 7 years ago. And, at that time, it looked like, again, benefits reserved for very wealthy tech companies, right? So it's public knowledge. Google and Facebook were the first Progeny adopters. Again, today, it is our desire, and we've had a tremendous amount of success in really democratizing care and bringing a more affordable, still premium experience. A premium experience does not have to cost a premium price tag to other companies, right? So you're going to see mass retailers, technology companies, media companies, financial institutions, particularly in a recessionary environment, a down market, really start caring about cost. You saw Netflix, Facebook has put hiring on hold. So they really want a more expansive benefit at a more affordable cost. The question of, we offer fertility benefits today, where is our expansion plans? We take our cues from the employers. So the employers today are asking for a single solution to really take care of their member population for their entire family building journey. So you see us today in surrogacy adoption, in genetic testing, in carrier screening, in mental health, but it's mental health related to trying to conceive. So 1 out of every 3 natural pregnancies end up in miscarriage. So we will always handle a patient's depression associated with recurrent pregnancy loss or miscarriage. We're not going to do mental health in the broader sense, but we are going to support mental health, nutrition, and wellness specific to trying to conceive. And then anything, again, on that trying to conceive path, our member gets pregnant, has a baby, and then importantly, how do we return to work, right? So it is this care continuum in family building. So we're probably not going to be in the parenting kind of that post 4th trimester. We're not going to be in peds or parenting anytime soon. And we're not going to be in the general nutrition and wellness and the general mental health, but it really is in this family building journey. It's not just fertility. We treat patients that did not go through IVF to conceive, because there are a number of ways. The most ideal way to conceive is the old-fashioned way. So we want to be able to help the people that conceive naturally, and then the people who need reproductive technology to conceive.
We have time for one last question. As you move through your journey as an entrepreneur, as a business leader, I would imagine from time to time you feel a little tired or perhaps lose sight of your mission or your sense of purpose. How do you get back on track? What are the things that fill your cup, that add fuel to your tank?
It goes back to this team. We probably have 12 or 15 of us at the leadership level. And so you're right. Any given day, Tim, 1 or 2 of us might feel down, or we may have had a loss, whether it's in our personal life or our professional life, and we pick each other up and we stand on each other's shoulders. No one person gets credit. We win as a team, we lose as a team. And so the way, I stand back up when I have falters is I call a colleague. I call Dr. Angie Beltsos, our CEO of Clinical, or Ann Beth Eschbach, our CEO of Corporate, because when you have a really deep, strong leadership team that believes so strongly as I do in this service-based leadership style, that we are in servitude of the patient and we're here to prioritize patient care. It's impossible for all 12 of us to feel down in a day. So sometimes I'm the picker-upper and sometimes I'm the picker-up-E. I like playing both roles, but that's how I get picked up back up. I stand on the shoulders of giants that I surround myself with.
Well, Gina, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. I know you're very busy. I really enjoyed our conversation and learning about your purpose and what motivates you.
Yeah. Thank you, Tim.